Hey, this is Henry Rotten.
Hey, this is Marcus Centofonte.
It's Brad fucking Rush.
This is Big Sexy Venom here.
This is Killer K.
This is Killjoy.
Hi, this is Tim Lee, and you're listening to the GBYWN podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Global Backyard Wrestling Nation podcast. Here with your host, the one and only Rad Hazard. And let me start off this podcast by mentioning it's been a little while. It's been a couple of weeks since the last podcast, and the reason behind that, and I do deeply apologize, is because I have been sick. I've had a cold, I've had a fever for about 2 weeks now. And I'm not sure who to blame. It's either Ian Finnegan, who warned everyone ahead of time that he did have a cold, or Andrew Sellers, who also warned everyone ahead of time in our ride that he too had a cold. And to be honest, I would say between the fact that Henry Rotten, who was driving, also got a cold, and Mike Damage got a bit of a cold, I'm going to blame Sellers on this one. Could be wrong, but I'm just blaming Sellers. He was the other man in our ride. I think it was something like 4 hours there and 4 hours back. So Sellers, damn it, it's all your fault. No, I'm just kidding. But either way, if I cough at any point, I might have to edit it. I might leave it in. I'm not sure. I'm currently chewing on a cough drop to do my best to talk normally and not sound like I just got out of bed or something like that, you know? But even so, I have been wrestling these last couple of weeks. And before we get to the final part of our interview with the current reigning and defending GBYWN United States Champion, the Russ, let's talk about what I've been doing recently, as well as what's been going on in the Global Backyard Wrestling Nation. Now, since we last talked, I believe it was on September 6th, I wrestled for the EWA at EWA Summer Sizzler 2014. This was actually the first event I have ever booked for the EWA as the head booker. I have full responsibility of booking now, and I love it. I'm so happy I'm able to bring a unique flavor and style to the EWA that no other Fed has, including the Elite 5 rankings, making the EWA the only Fed that has a top 5 ranking system for its heavyweight title, making it a little different from every other Fed in the GBYWN, who just kind of have random, well, not seemingly random, but kind of random title defenses depending on who's there and things like that, storyline purposes. We have a top 5 ranking system. I'm very excited about that. We also have a Backyard Super J Cup Championship, which you'll hear about in a minute, but it's essentially a junior heavyweight title. We try to make it as unique as possible, with the championship not being represented by a trophy belt, but that of a trophy cup. And the Tri-State Championship, which actually is now seen as the only title in the EWA that has random championship contenders at any time, where the champion does not know who they're facing until that opponent walks out, which we haven't utilized too much yet, but you will see that in the coming weeks and months. The Tri-State Champion never knows who his next opponent is, while the EWA Heavyweight Champion always knows his next 5 opponents in the ranking system. Keep something a little different between the titles, right? And a little exclusive for you here right now, we are talking about the idea of bringing back the EWA Tag Team Championship. Of course, you know me, I love tag team wrestling. And I figure, we have a lot more people coming in. We got a lot of new young lions. We got new faces coming in from New York. We got the guys from OCWS coming in. I'm bringing some some BXW talent to EWA. We might even get 3BW people involved over time. All this stuff starting to come in. Connecticut too. Let's not forget Connecticut will be at Elite. And hopefully they'll be able to come more often. Daniel Devine being one of those men who has started to come to our shows. Why not bring back tag team wrestling in a big way to the Elite Wrestling Association? So we'll see how that goes. Will there be tag team titles? Not saying 100% certain, but it's definitely something on the radar. Definitely something I think we can do with the roster we have. Either way, let me get back to what I was doing at EWA Summer Sizzler, because I had a big show, my friends. I only wrestled for, 30-second match, but it was huge because I came out and cashed in Alex Virtue's Money in the Bank briefcase, defeating Brandon the Bull to become the new EWA Heavyweight Champion. And this was really important to me personally because Brandon, TJ, and Joe were the bookers at the time when they decided I was going to be EWA Heavyweight Champion. I'd want to make sure, and I want to stress 100%, that I just happened to become the booker on the day I won the title. That was never a planned thing from me. And I am very proud to say that those three guys that define EWA, they are EWA, folks. The Halls represent EWA more than anybody else. They have been there since the beginning. They own EWA 110%. So for them to look at me and go, you're the man in our Fed, we want you to represent us as champion, it means a lot to me because it shows they've put a lot of faith in me, and it shows that they appreciate the talent I have as a wrestler. Whether it's a lot of talent or not, I'm not going to go into how great I am or how much I suck, because I could see it, some things I suck at and some things I'm good at. And I wouldn't say I'm great at anything, because if I was, I'd be on TV or something, right? Even though technically I was on Impact Wrestling last week. For those of you who were watching, you probably spotted me in the crowd. But that, anyway, getting off of that. So I really appreciate the fact that they look at me as something that they really want to showcase in their programs. And there's a lot of people who aren't in the GBYWN who are just fans of their show, that watch their show. And the fact that those people enjoy what I do, I really appreciate that. And this is also the first ever since I started in 2008. I believe December of 2008 was when I started. I've never held a singles title in a federation before. I've only held GBYWN titles, Balborn Wrestling titles, and one reign as New Era Tag Team Champion. Never held a singles title in a Fed. Not BXW, not OSWS, not New Era, nothing. So this was really, really cool to me that I was able to finally win a heavyweight title, a singles title, in a promotion like this. And EWA of all things, a Fed that I watched an era of my life, 2009, 2010, where I really believed I was done with backyard wrestling, where I had no idea if I would ever have another backyard wrestling match again. And I watched EWA. I was a huge fan of what they were doing at the time, and that championship meant a lot at the time. I mean, they booked it perfectly with storylines, with angles, with feuds. People gave a shit about that title because the most intriguing matches came from that belt. And that's what that championship, that's what any championship should be about, folks. If I put a title on somebody, I want people to go, that guy's the man. Whether they know who they are or not, they go, if that belt's on that guy, that means he's real talented. I want to watch him. If that belt is being defended in that match, that should be the best match on the card, or at least tied for it. That should be the most intriguing feud on the card. Like, that's the idea of this championship. One of those three things should be happening at all times with at least the main championship belt. And as such, when I'm booking now that I'm running it and I have to figure out where I'm going next with the title, which, you know, we've already figured out and everything. It's a part of the old plan, but we're moving it over with a little bit of my flavor. I'm going to do what I can to make that belt mean this is the match to watch. This is the main event of the show. This is the most intriguing feud of the show. And that's what I'm all about doing right now as the EWA Heavyweight Champion. During that show, we also got to have Mike Damage wrestle Alex Virtue. And what is at the moment Alex Virtue's last match, it was a loser leaves EWA match. Mike Damage pretty much, beat the shit out of him. It wasn't the all-encompassing destruction of a man like Alex Virtue, but for Alex Virtue, it was. That's the funny thing. I guess he couldn't really handle himself that well. Where even Mike Damage on, a medium setting was overkill for Alex Virtue. But hey, it was extremely entertaining, and I think everyone got the idea, representing Alex Virtue as the past and things that didn't quite work out with the EWA, things that people turned away from and didn't like, and the influence of places like UWA and how it just didn't work out. And you take that and you put it in the embodiment of a guy like Alex Virtue, who was someone they pushed that should not have been pushed, and they'll admit that to you, and I'll admit that to you. Even though I had nothing to do with it, but And Then you take a guy like Mike Damage, who has never really been a staple of the EWA at any point in his career. I mean, he's only shown up to a handful of shows, and he came in and destroyed Alex Virtue. And it was symbolism. It was symbolism for this new wave of an EWA that accepts the world around it, that's only going to become better, and is only going to become a better EWA through accepting these other promotions around them and saying, hey, we can go just as hard as you guys can with your best talent and with our best talent, and we're going to have these dream matches that we've never been able to have before. With our exclusive guys now trying to branch out, and your guys who've never really been a part of the EWA now being here. And everyone loved it, and I hope that symbolism comes through of the old guard being washed away by this new guard, this new flavor of fun and excitement that a guy like Mike Damage brings, like a guy like, I hope, myself brings, like Big Sexy Venom brings, like the Russ brings, many more. Saint Vengeance he used to bring and is now bringing again in EWA. And so, with a match like that, it meant a lot more in my mind than it probably did just watching it. But in my mind, it meant a changing of the guard. That match began as the old EWA, and it ended with the new EWA, and that's how I feel about that. But moving from there, we did go into the very next show, which in fact was on, I believe, September 13th. 7 days later. It was for the Backyard Super J Cup. This was an interesting idea that TJ Blade, of all people, came up with some time ago. Now, there used to be a different Super J Cup that isn't recognized by the EWA about 2 years ago. Less said about that, the better. Didn't work out very well. It wasn't run by EWA guys, but it was in their yard. This was the real deal. This was TJ Blade really trying to get a J Cup going. That great high-flying Japanese style here in the EWA and in GBYWN in general. There's never been any form of junior heavyweight high flyer tournament in the GBYWN. As far as I remember, I'm pretty sure there hasn't been. So this was very unique, very interesting. And as the booker, I was trying to incorporate that into my style and really make it work because it's so unique. And that's what EWA should be. We should have the most unique concepts that you could possibly have. BXW brings that uniqueness to their flavor. New Era definitely has a unique style that everyone enjoys. So why not bring that on to the EWA? And we had a fun Super J Cup. Junior J Cup, same thing. At that particular show, I was in a very interesting Tornado Tag Team match. Myself and Better Than Old Joe Hall taking on the team of Ryan Rage and Travis Hall. That's right, Travis Hall returning to the EWA. The idea being that TJ Blade was retired at Elite last year, but now that I'm the heavyweight champion and I've done all this stuff to manipulate the system, he has to come back in order to serve justice, even if he has to come back as himself, Travis Hall. It's raw, and it's just him. He doesn't come out with the body spray shirts and all that stuff. He comes out with an EWA shirt. He is himself. And that is a really interesting gimmick to have right now, to really show that change of the guard, that even a character like TJ Blade can be something different and new. And he's pretty much like our Tommy Dreamer now. He's the guy who represents EWA. He's the heart and soul of the Elite Wrestling Association. He's coming to stop the bad guys. And in this Tornado Tag Team match, of course, it was for the main event of Elite 2014. The winner gets to determine the main event. They won the match, so they determined that the main event was a War Games match. We're doing it one more time, folks. Whether it'll be 5-on-5, 4-on-4, we're going to figure that out soon. We're keeping it a little open to interpretation at the moment. I'm going to assume we're going to do 4-on-4 right now, but just in case, you know. And that will be the main event. What other big surprises for that match? Well, we're going to have to see in the future. But I'm very excited for that. Also, Jimmy Spino in the main event, defeating Joey Adams, who just couldn't hang on in the rain. And Jimmy Spino, our very first ever Backyard Super J Cup holder, he was very excited to have this title because he wasn't even sure that it was a title or if it was just a tournament. We told him it was a title. He was very happy about it because, you know, no one's giving this guy his real due. I tried to give him his due when he was the internet champion of the GBYWN. It didn't work out because of his 2 injuries at the time. But now he's back as Safari Spino. Such a great gimmick. Everyone loves this thing. There's a billion animal-based moves that he can do, and it's so much fun. He's got the machete. He's got, he talks so fun, like a host of a wild show anyway, so why not? He's got the gear. There's so much he can do with this gimmick. As a face or a heel. Who says he has to be just a face? He could be a heel going after, people who wear animal clothes and fur and stuff like that. I mean, he could be one of those type of guys, too, and work as a heel. There's so much he could do with it. Of course I wanted to give him the big push. So he is our Super J-Cup champion, and I am so happy about that. But I've been talking about EWA a lot here, and I don't want to just talk about EWA. Let's talk a little bit about New Era. As in New Era, a new beginning, September 20th, where I defended the GBYWN World Pure Championship against my own tag team partner, Big Sexy Venom. Originally, I was scheduled to wrestle Andrew Wright. Andrew Wright couldn't make it to the show. So I wrestled my own tag team partner with the idea that, hey, Mike Damage hasn't had any title defenses during his whole title reign, so there's a huge list of backed up people who are supposed to be defending or getting shots at this title, and now that I've got the belt, well, I have to defend it against all these random people in such a short period of time because they've been waiting for their shot. So it's kind of like a little bit of my revenge, of Mike Damage getting a little bit of revenge on me, because now I have to do all of his work that he should have done the last 9-10 months, whatever it is. And I had to do it in a very short period of time, including wrestling someone like my own tag team partner, Big Sexy Venom. And let me tell you, this was such a fun match, because we tried as much as we could, and I always try to do this with my matches, incorporate the rules of the pure wrestling match. We tried to incorporate every single rule that was different into a little joke or a little spot in the match, so people really got the gist of what the pure rules were, as opposed to last year's Goodbye when we had our first World Pure title match there and nobody understood any of the rules. I want to make sure the rules are very obvious here. 20-second count on the outside, 3 rope breaks a wrestler. If you get punched in the face, you lose a rope break. If you punch someone in the face and you have no more rope breaks, you're disqualified. And of course, the title changes hands on disqualification. We utilized as much of that as we could, pretty much all of it, really. And I think it made for a really good match. Now, during that match, I have to explain, there were 2 rings set up next to each other, which I believe is the first for a GBYWN show to have 2 rings next to each other. So grossly underused was that second ring, let me tell you. But in our match, I was actually suplexed from one ring into the other ring, and then I was being press slammed back into that second ring, and as I went, I wanted to give myself a little spin. If you ever look at like the lumberjack match I had with John Keller, where TKO threw me into the ring, I grabbed the ropes to do an extra spin as I back bumped. I do that all the time. Whenever I get thrown in the ring, I try to do an extra little spin because it looks really cool. And during this, it was so hard to kind of figure out the length and everything, because I'm literally being thrown from one ring into another ring. So I get thrown, I grab the rope to kind of, brace myself and do the spin. I over-rotate, and rather than back bump, I land directly on my wrist. Pretty much rolled my hand, whipped my hand backwards into my wrist, and at first I thought I broke my middle finger. That's what I thought. Checking all my fingers and everything was okay. But it was obvious something had happened with my hand. Finished the match totally fine. I think during the biohazard I might have slipped a little bit. Other than that, didn't really feel any side effects until later that day when my hands grossly swelled up. Everything hurt. Couldn't move my hand at all. Everyone, who was there checked it. Multiple people just saying it was sprained. It wasn't broken or anything. So I made sure to at least, keep it cool, keep it iced, and hopefully from there it would be okay. Well, next day, couldn't wrestle, couldn't perform because of the hand. So I pretty much sat next to Ian Finnegan and Henry Rotten most of the day and watched the show. Came out with Big Sexy Venom. We did a funny high five spot and stuff like that. And it's weird because since I started, like I said, I started in 2008, I have only had one quote-unquote injury, and that was a concussion I got during my match with the pen name, where I couldn't talk for a couple minutes. It was that bad. Like, when I tried to talk, it was just mumbling words. But I didn't miss any time or anything from there. I actually went right onto an airplane like an hour later. This was the first time where I got quote-unquote injured and couldn't... Oh yeah, there's another one. I got hit in the head by a chair at WrestleFest by TJ Blade. And I could have wrestled that day. I just was very scared and stuff because I had never been busted open before. And people kept begging me not to wrestle and stuff, and I needed stitches and all that. And now I wouldn't really worry about that kind of stuff. But at the time I was very worried. A lot of people were making me panic a little bit. And ultimately I didn't wrestle that day either. But here at New Era, couldn't wrestle. I legitimately couldn't do anything. I got a hand wrap from the Russ. Thank you, Russ, if you're listening for that. We will hear his interview in a little while, but wrapped my hand up, couldn't really do anything, and that was the end of that. Hand didn't really feel great at all for a couple of days. Even like the Friday after that, which I'm getting to next, I still was a little worried about my hand, but I was going to perform that Saturday, which was the 27th, at EWA Battle Cry. I booked myself to wrestle Killa K because I felt like it would be a very easy match to have with him. And our match was very unique, for me at least. Killa K being a light guy, I wasn't worried about anything. None of his style was really any dangerous or anything. I couldn't really head spike as well as I'd want because I'm only using one hand. And the entire match, I really couldn't use my hand at all. I had it super taped up, wrapped up with a hand wrap. And we literally chained for like 11 minutes. We had an opening spot, an ending spot. Everything else was just chaining. Like, it really felt like an old 1960s wrestling match or a World of Sport wrestling match where we just chained back and forth for forever. And we had to finish low blow onto Killa K. I got him an O'Connor roll with a bridge. I couldn't even use my hands to bridge. I just bridged onto my head and got the 3. Oh, I didn't tell you about the finish of Venom. My finish of Venom was awesome. Working his right arm the entire match. Some people thought I was botching it, but I was actually working his right arm for the choke slam. At the end of the match, he got me for the choke slam. Of course, he slips because his arm hurts. Grab him for the biohazard. Nail him. Now, just moments before that, I rammed his head into a post, so he was already super dizzy and trying to play up a concussion. So the biohazard just pissed him off, but he was still like really super dizzy from this possible concussion he had. And when I turned around and said, something like, I can't believe this, or you gotta be kidding me, he figured out where I was, gave me the super killer pile driver that he does, the RDX I think it's called, and then fainted. So essentially pile driver and then fell back on his back, and of course because he's holding me, I land on top of him. 1, 2, 3, retain the pure title. Just like I retained the pure title against Killa K. That's 3 title defenses in about a month, and I'm very happy about that. I'm really trying to get this title out there, this pure championship. Now I can say it's been defended at New Era and EWA, and technically it's been defended at Revival as well, so pure title getting all over the place, isn't it? I really like that. But now, folks, it is time to get out of whatever the hell I'm talking about and start talking about some backyard wrestling results before we get to that interview with the Russ. This is the GBYWN event recaps. Now, of course, we're still all the way back in May because I want to take my time with talking about these great backyard wrestling events. And I want you guys to check these out. If any of this stuff interests you at all, any of these matches, all of these shows are online either on YouTube or Vimeo for the UK shows. And these are some great matches. Some of them are full matches, some of them are music videos, some of them are clipped. And this is a lot of fun stuff, guys. I mean, there's a lot of talented people out there, some you might not even heard of before. Definitely check this stuff out. Definitely check this out. So let's start with May 10th, 2014 in Pennsylvania as we host BXW Paul Kunkel Memorial 5, Day 1. In the opening contest, TKO defeated Jamie Anderson. In the second match, Nova 6, the team of the BXW Interstate Champion Hybrid, and the GBYWN World X Division Champion James Connolly, defeated none other than the new Mark of Excellence, B-Cubed and Drake Genocide, former GBYWN United States Tag Team Champions. A huge win for Nova 6. Great match for James Connolly to be able to have a great match with the likes of B-Cube and Drake Genocide together. And who knows, this might be the very last Mark of Excellence match. So it's great to have that spotlight for Connolly and, Hybrid, who's never really had a match with the Mark of Excellence as far as I know. So from there, we had the Russ defend the GBYWN US title successfully against Alex Cross and Soy Boy. One-on-one, it's a triple threat match, as Doc Holliday defeated Chuck Action and Joshua Wesker. Chuck Action's still coming to these shows. We have a running storyline with him as Rad Hazard continues to not allow Chuck Action to wrestle at BXW. But hey, this is Mike Damage's show. Mike Damage allowed it, so we'll see what happens in the future with that. Oh, speaking of Rad Hazard wrestled the EWA Heavyweight Champion Joe Hall to a no contest. With the idea that Mike Damage made us both wrestle each other, we literally beat the hell out of each other until respect was earned, and we left the ring with a huge number of bodies in the ring and the referee pretty much dead on the outside. Speaking of that dead referee, that man became Dylan Kreese, who defeated the Chad in the very next match on the card. From there, no disqualification, as the GBYWN Tag Team Champions of the World, the Stepdads, Daniel Devine and Patrick Wade Wilson, successfully defended the gold against none other than Swift Justice, the GBYWN World Pure Champion Mike Damage, and Chris Urban. Swift Justice coming back one night only. Amazing. Nobody saw it coming. And what a coup for the Stepdads to get a great match with Swift Justice for those World Tag Team titles. I bet a lot of people thought Swift Justice was going to win. Not today, folks. Not today. The Stepdads retain the gold. One-on-one as Jimmy Spino defeated Andrew Wright. Tag team action as the Exiled, Chris Craze and Cameron Action defeated Time is Moolah of Chris Moolah and Showtime. And a little info for you, folks. Now that Showtime has moved to Florida, this is the very last Time is Moolah match. So if you ever want to see the final Time is Moolah match, you have it right here. The last Showtime match as well, to be honest. It's right here with Time is Moolah versus the Exiled, so please check that out. The very last show-stealing match of Showtime. An elimination bout saw Benjamin Wright back defeat Mark Electric, Prime Time, and J2 Step. J2 Step being a big surprise for Paul Kunkel Memorial, and here he is in a great match. Fantastic match with these guys. You couldn't ask for more between four great opponents. But now, six-man tag team action, as the Fabulous Freebirds of Henry Rotten, Ace Wired, and Drake Brailer defeated the Backyard Battalion of St. Vengeance and the GBYWN United States Tag Team Champions, the Flamboys, Andrew Sellers, and Adam Bolt Burnett. Six-man tag team action. You've never seen the likes of an Ace Wired or a Drake Brailer once paired up against an Andrew Sellers or an Adam Bolt Burnett or St. Vengeance. You got some craziness, and Henry Rotten always good with those elbows. But in your main event of the evening, the BXW Championship on the line in a no disqualification match as Johnny Boy defeated Marcus Santafonte. And you know that was good, folks. Let's move on with May 11th, 2014 in Pennsylvania as BXW hosted the Paul Kunkel Memorial 5-Day 2. A 2 out of 3 falls match saw Drake Genocide defeat the GBYWN World Tag Team Champion Daniel Devine. Falls count anywhere as Henry Rotten defeated Alex Cross. A triple threat bout saw Chris Moolah defeat Andrew Wright and Joshua Wesker. The GBYWN World X Division Championship was on the line as James Connolly successfully defended the gold over Jimmy Spino. A triple threat bout saw Hybrid successfully retain the BXW Interstate Championship over Doc Holliday and the OCWS champion St. Vengeance. The GBYWN United States Championship was on the line as Primetime defeated the Russ by disqualification. And in that match, folks, the Stepdads attacked Primetime in order to cause the DQ and save the Russ from losing the title. The only time in the history of the Russ's title reign where he was so threatened by a title loss that the Stepdads had to interfere and pretty much cost him the match, but save him the title. The Russ joins the Stepdads. Singles action as Mark Electric defeated Soy Boy. No disqualification as the Fabulous Freebirds of Ace Wired and Drake Brailer defeat the Kokogen Wrecking Crew Deluxe of Mike Damage and Marcus Santafonte. Damage continuing to be unable to defend that World Pure title, so he's in this match with the likes of Ace Wired and Drake Brailer along with his brother and Marcus Santafonte. A fantastic match. Please look this match up if you want to see great tag team wrestling. And you know I love some great tag team wrestling, because up next, the Flamboys, Adam Bolt Burnett and Andrew Sellers successfully defended a GBYWN United States Tag Team Championship over the Radical Movement of Rad Hazard and Chris Urban. And in your main event of the evening, the Chad defeated Benjamin Right Back. And you know, Benjamin Right Back, the king of the big man versus little man matches. This match was flip-tastic, and the big man trying to overcome the odds, unsuccessful with the Chad. But man, what a bout to main event P5. Totally worth the main event. Tuesday, May 20th, 2014 in United Kingdom hosted RCWA Resistance episode 53. In the opening contest, Jin Catastrophe defeated Harley Davis by pinfall. And in your main event of the evening, Matt Money defeated Jack Purcell by pinfall. May 22nd, 2014 in United Kingdom hosted RCWA Underground episode 101. In the opening bout, Jin Catastrophe defeated Apollo by way of pinfall. 1-on-1 as Dan Van Vertigo defeated Andy Andrews by pinfall. And in your main event of the evening, Sean Wilson and the GBYWN World Champion Sam Jude went to a count-out draw. May 9th, 2014 in Australia hosted WCWA Backyard TV. In the opening contest, Acid defeated Scream. The WCWA Backyard Championship was on the line as Mike Delcano defeated Brandon Cage. And in your main event of the evening, Steel Kemsley defeated Rex Regum by way of disqualification. That episode of Backyard TV being the Sunday Night Heat, if you will, the opening showcase to hype this next event. May 24th, 2014 in Australia hosted WZWA Autumn Brawl. In the opening contest, Badass Blade Shaw defeated WZWA Tag Team Champion Dynamo. War Games 2 saw the Stone Army of JD Flame, Alex Stone, and Mike Delcano. Oh, and Mechanos. We got 8-man here. Defeating the Elite Alliance, Aston Crude, Acid, Ryan Tate, WZWA Champion Dan Zeppelin, and Blade Shaw. An open challenge saw 3 Dog successfully defend the GBYWN World Hardcore title against DK Joker and Kai Fusion. 1-on-1 as Brandon Cage, making his debut to the WZWA, defeated the WZWA Tag Team Champion Jack Wallace. The Excellence of Extreme, Nick Ariel defeated Daredevil Brian Lowe. Rex Regum versus Dark Ice ends in a no contest with Dark Ice becoming injured during the bout. And in your main event of the evening, Night Stalker Daniel Johnson successfully defended the GBYWN Australian Championship over Kilowatt Chaos. Another fantastic WZWA showcase. If you want to see a great War Games match from the WZWA, here you have it, right here, right now. The World Hardcore title and Australian title of the Global Backyard Wrestling Nation also in full effect.
I got the biggest boner for science.
So, folks, that's my recaps for now. We're stopping here on the 24th of May, and we'll get to more of them as I hopefully bring out more of these podcast episodes sooner than later. But for now, that's what we have. And for now, let me introduce you to the third and final part of this long-running interview saga with the one, the only, the Global Backyard Wrestling Nation United States Champion, the Russ.
How'd you feel about the last NYE? You were in the Cybernetico?
Yes, I was.
I was pretty sure you were. Tell me about how that went. Because I was the ref for the first half, and just watching you guys was exhausting.
Oh god,
dude. I was confused by the misfire because I was standing there and I looked around. I'm like, I don't think this is where we're supposed to brawl, but I feel like now
I'm pretty sure that
brawling
was
because
blown by
everybody's
Warren.
Yeah, it was blown.
Because I remember standing there being like, I don't remember this spot. Is this it? Is this it? And I remember seeing Warren running.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I guess this is it. And Don's like, this is the spot, you fucking assholes.
Yeah, Don and I were trying to call everyone back.
No, I remember, and like I saw that, I'm like, oh, like if you notice, I threw like 2 punches. I'm like, oh, this isn't the fucking spot.
Mm-hmm.
No, like I was actually pushing people back. I'm like, no, wrong.
Oh man, that. How'd you feel about them knees though? Didn't you get the shot in the head?
That's fucking like at a Grapgasm show.
Oh, is
that
it?
was,
Well, it's all the same, man.
Wagner was not in that match.
The concussion.
No, I know, but
are you
I'm
talking about the knees and the concussion?
Yeah.
That was
Wagner.
Grapgasm 19,
No, it was after
and that was
Okay.
Chris.
Me, Don,
I
Killjoy.
can't remember
merging
Chris's
all my
last
times.
name in Cage.
Chris Craze.
Chris Case.
Chris Craze.
Craze, yeah.
Chris Craze did the moonsault shooting star, and he's right on Russ.
Okay.
And
Well,
Russ,
he just
Russ
did a moonsault, but
Russ kind of forgot how I was supposed to eliminate him, so he had to improvise. But it's not your fault because you were friggin' concussed.
I don't feel bad.
And we improvised and it turned out okay anyway.
Dude, no, legitimately, like, you gotta think about it. Like, that didn't take me out of it, but then I took a fucking Canadian destroyer.
Oh, yeah.
That's where it happened. That's definitely where it happened because, like, and even though I usually know how to fucking sell them and shit, you're still taking some kind of impact on the top of your head. Mm-hmm. So, like, you think about it, second blow, even as light as it could be, which probably wasn't, my brain shit the bed. I'm just kind of like, hey, all right. And actually, what did I hit you with?
You were supposed to like try for the Russ Dash ride, but instead I think you went for your pump
Rusty
handle,
trombone,
the
yeah.
rusty trombone, and I'm like, it's the wrong move, Russ. It's the wrong move, and you were just like, because you're. So I'm like, all right, fine. I'm supposed to reverse this into the Clover Tamer anyway, so I'm just gonna break out, and I broke out.
And you did anyways. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I remember, I felt so bad. So
I hope that's really what he said.
No, that no. I think I tried to say something and it just came out slurred as shit.
Yeah,
like I was
I've had that once with my concussion.
dude,
Where you could,
no.
You could.
Brad, do you remember how concerned you and Demorest were when I was like, I sat there, I was half out of gear. I was just like, how the fuck did I get here? That's all I was like.
Standing there, and you were like, I don't remember the second half of the match. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, like I didn't, and apparently the match, like, because I have noticed half the people are already gone, and I was like, the show's over? They're like, Russ,
Yeah,
you were in the main.
Jump
I'm
through
like,
time or something
like,
in your own body.
Yeah, no, exactly. It was fucking scary as shit. I blame you, Graves. I don't blame him. It's just a fucking mishap. Not the most non-shoot ever. But apparently he's real cocky. Like, I give a shit. Stop dating ex-girlfriends, Don. Shoot. Keep that in. I don't care.
Oh, well. Alright, let's talk a little bit about shoots.
Oh God.
We were gonna save this for later. I actually kept a note. Let's talk about Mr. Scotty Skills.
All right. This is our first
NYE
posted. This is our first posted.
match.
Now, mind you, the first Miss NYE match, which I think it's funny that me and Stamper, of all fucking people, came up with the idea of making a Miss NYE match because it said "I love NYE" on the fucking top. And I'm like, between the two, like I don't know if I think he came up with the idea of like, let's make it a ladder match for the heart. I'm like, yes,
Fucking Joey.
and it's me, Joey Tornado, Kunkel.
Scotty Skills.
Scotty Skills, of
Froggy
course.
is Deadpool.
Huh?
Froggy is Deadpool.
Froggy is
and
Deadpool.
Joe Hall.
And Joe Hall, that's right.
Wow.
Which, if you think about it, it's actually a pretty fucking stacked six-man, with the exception of one human being. Which I had noticed. Now, mind you, you guys don't know the backstory to this, but Martel, being pissed for both days, decided that it was going to be his mission to get as many people shit-faced hammered because he wasn't involved as much. And I'm like, I knew exactly what you were doing, and that's why I did exactly what I did for that Scotty match. He was like, yeah, you're the man for doing that, by the way. Because what I did is I went to every participant, and I'm like, listen, if Scotty fucks up, if you have anything particular planned for him, I got you. They're like, what do you mean you got us? I'm like, he's going to fuck up. They're like, what do you mean?
Just straight up, he's going to do it.
They're like, no, don't you mean F? I'm like, no. It's gonna happen. He is fucking shit-faced, and he's going to fuck up. There's no if, ands, or buts.
Oh man, the beatdown of Scotty Skills.
Oh man, I almost feel bad.
Almost.
Yeah. Almost. Oh, you're sitting on my shirt, man. Give me my fucking shirt, man. Get out of your ass crack.
Nice and warm for you.
Okay. Yeah, I know, just like the hot tub. But Scotty, being somebody who, I kind of tried to move along throughout his little fucking beginning of his career, and much like Two Step was overbooked. And I don't mean overbooked, I don't think Two Step was overbooked, but I think they oversold.
He was overpushed.
Yes, he's overpushed. Absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
Well,
I'm a little drunk now.
I've had plenty. I've had plenty of. I love Justin. If you listen to this, I love you to death. But I've had plenty of J Two Step overpushed conversations.
However, Scotty had no reason to be pushed as hard as he did. Two Step, I get it because he actually. There was way more times than not that he came through and fucking killed it.
Yeah, he delivers.
No, exactly. He's always delivering. And that's why I can't argue that. However, Skills, he just did stupid shit. And he continued to do stupid shit.
You could say that his last name is an oxymoron.
I was actually thinking that in my head, but
I actually encouraged him to make his name Scotty Skills because I think his original name was Scotty Gold.
So
This is
close
about
to
to
Scotty
be
Goldman.
Yeah, I was thinking the same
No,
thing.
literally his name was Scotty Gold originally. I'm like, that's stupid. And they're like, what? I'm like, it should be alliterative. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, how about Scotty Skills? And they're like, holy shit. Like, I helped name the fucker. Let's put it that way. So, now, here's where my personal beliefs come into play. I don't mind if you drink before your match, as long as you keep it into a, decent level, and you're not getting too fucking crazy, and you know how to handle yourself. Warren, I don't give a fuck what people say about him. He doesn't get too wasted where he's not confident in his match. Except for a time or two where I was tagging with him, he expected me to carry him because he could rely on me for that. That's safe for later. I know. Shut up.
I had things to say there.
I'm just saying in general, but he knew, with the exception of that, he knew, even with me and Soy, he was about doing the match early because he could drink afterwards. I was like, fine, whatever, people want to fucking party. I'm so glad about this booking. Which I was at first. The way it turned out, not so much. I'm not saying that Soy didn't do anything for me because it was a good match. It was good spots. But bad moods all around for that match. Whatever, fuck that, Scotty. I don't like when you put my friends in danger. And although I don't hang out with Stamper, I don't hang out with Hall, I don't really hang out with Kunkel, they're still friends. And Froggy's absolutely a friend. And I will tell you right now, for somebody I don't hang out with, I do not hang out with Joey Tornado, but I love that dude to death. Like, because he does not give a fuck what he says to people. And even if he's being a dick for the moment, he'll even tell you, like, I'm just being a dick, but at the same time, it's kind of true, right? Which usually it is. It's very, very few and far between where he's like, oh my god, I'm overblowing things, which I don't even know if I can think of anything. But Scotty had a lot of stuff planned with Tornado. And I'm just like, I don't know. I knew I didn't have the faith in him. Like, dude, he smelled like fucking liquor. You know what I mean? Like when somebody just emanates it. Yeah, exactly. You didn't work him.
No,
Watching the match, you could tell that his mind was nowhere near the match.
He just knew he was gonna get his ass kicked. That's all.
Well, because I told everybody if he fucks up, it's fucking over.
You mean when he fucks up?
Well, yes. I was trying to say to be nice to people because I didn't want to scare them, but I'm just like, be on the lookout. I don't want you to get hurt. And then legitimately the first bump that Scotty's supposed to fucking take, because we were doing a hot 6-man opening, bump, powder, bump, powder, bump, powder, bump, powder, bump, powder, and then do multi-man shit. This motherfucker doesn't powder the outside. So, choo choo, here comes Russ running through with a big ass fucking lariat. Like, of course I'm gonna fucking, as soon as I heard, God damn it, Scotty, I'm getting up from the other side of the base. I'm like, I got you.
And that's what started the whole,
Yeah, that started it.
That started the whole running of a train on Scotty, where
Was
Scotty
that the beginning of it?
murdered.
No, that wasn't the beginning of it. I think we did that at a different spot. Because that was to remind him, stay down.
Yeah, there was one spot halfway through the match where Scotty fucked it up, and then you were like, that's it, Scotty,
it was a bump on the
dying.
outside with Stamper, and I heard Stamper go, that's when I heard, God damn it, Scotty.
Stamper say that.
And then you just hear me just go. And like, that was pretty much the signal. Like, people knew it was on. Like, some people did not take part. Like, I would say probably 2 or 3 other people hit him. Some people, like 1 or 2 other people did not. Because they're just like, I feel bad. I'm just like, fuck feeling bad. This guy does not care about your safety. He does not care about your fucking life. Because he's sitting there trying, like, not even trying. He's just so drunk. He's like a drunk elk. And he's just like...
he's doing the primetime entrance.
Yeah, he's doing the party.
Yeah.
But he had nobody's safety in mind at all. And I was so fucking insulted by that. And that's definitely the point where I was like, I'm not drinking before matches anymore. I'm not getting too crazy with the smoking before matches. Don't get me wrong, I've been smoked up and I fucking forget stuff. But I love how Don knows my end of the match. Like, I didn't even do that with you because I was so confident in our match. But usually I'm like, if I fuck anything up, I'm sorry. Let's have fun. And that's pretty much my Russ is ready thing. And Don knows right off the bat when he hears that, he's like, Russ is ready. But sometimes when I'm X amount of confident, like with Pride Time, I still was like, dude, if I forget stuff, I'm sorry, because I led the match. That's why I say that, because it's like, if I forget things, I'm sorry. I know I'm supposed to be the encyclopedia or whatever the fuck I'm supposed to be right now. but yes, that's probably the angriest all of you guys have ever seen me.
Yeah,
ever.
You were pretty good.
Rightfully so, though.
Yeah.
Well, no, absolutely, but I'm amazed that we were able to go through with the finish of the match and me still be like...
into it.
Yeah, like, because I was totally into it with everybody else.
Yeah.
I was just very pissed off that Scotty was in the match. It was half Scotty's too fucking wasted for this, and half, man, what is it with me and getting booked in matches with dudes from Amsterdam at these big shows that I'm supposed to be given as much variety and shit like that. But that wasn't, like, that was only a bit of it, you know? Well, I did say half, didn't I? But no, it wasn't even half of it, but it was a portion of it. I was kind of like, what the fuck, man? But we had our fun, and that's all there is to it. Scotty made me not, but I really don't fucking care. Like, and I don't hate Scotty. Like, I don't hold that hate for him. It's just, motherfucker, you better take your lumps now and fucking realize why you took your lumps.
I think
like,
he did afterward.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, he knew
But-
he did something wrong.
But some things wrong.
I just
Like, just because there's fucking liquor there to be drunk doesn't mean you have to do it right then and fucking there. You could have just waited right after your match and then fucking gone right along. Like, me and Murph are getting fucking sauced right now, and it's just like, but it's after a show.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Very
Like-
safe.
Yeah, like, there's just a right way and a wrong way to go about it. Like, I understand about having a good time. Yes, exactly. There is a time and a place. Like, you can have a good time. I'm not against that. I'm not like, don't you drink before a match. But I've noticed, and that's one of the reasons why I get along with Zeke so well. Like, Warren used to give me so much shit about being a stoner before a match and like getting so high and blah blah blah. Let that sink in for a moment.
Warren the alcoholic.
Yeah, the guy who has, on at least 2 occasions that I can remember, has gotten drunk enough to the point where it's like, oh, you have to remember this match, brother, because I'm a little sauced.
It was the most perfect Warren T.
That was-
ever.
That was almost a Nicolas Cage impression for a second there.
Yeah.
Just
Who?
Nicolas Cage?
Oh, no, I want to take his face.
Oh man.
Oh, that's a Nicolas Cage impression.
Yes, there we go.
Great movie.
So, let's move on to Warren.
Oh, here we go.
Your main event of the evening.
I don't know if it's the main event of the evening. I mean, main event's gonna be just name a name and I'll fucking shoot on him, but
Or we'll do it at the end.
yeah. It'd be like the
Final
fireworks
thoughts.
ending. It'd be like the fireworks ending.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
There you go.
Now we're
How do you feel
entering
about
the lightning
football?
round.
Warren, I love you, buddy, but I'm so fucking sick about hearing about this guy's fucking retirement. I call it his retardedment because it's retarded to like discuss. Okay.
I could have sworn he had entered his final form last year.
I love that.
What's his final four of last year?
When he finished
Yeah.
his match at goodbye and swore that he was retiring for good, he took a swig of I think it was a Corona, right?
Yeah.
And he put it down in the middle of the ring at BXW, then walked out of the ring, and all you hear is Johnny Boy going, "He's entered his final form!" So there's nothing but the Corona in the ring.
There's a funny beer joke that Warren has finally turned into just beer.
Warren is turned
It is
into
what
what
I
he
drank.
assumes.
I'm sorry, I was here. Look, I'm deaf in my right ear. I have not mentioned this. I'm actually a good 20% deaf in my ear. That's why sometimes calling out shit is not good. So if you're speaking to my left ear, yay, because we're selling from the right spot and you're in the right area and you should be talking to my left ear. If you're on the right side, fuck you.
He probably hasn't heard a goddamn thing I've said the entire broadcast he's had.
Murph, you're here?
I said, I'll go back to New York, I'll get pulled over and get a DUI.
Murph, you're from New York? Warren told me you're from Tennessee.
No, for the love of God, I'm gonna get so into that shit when my interview comes up, because I fucking hate
Yeah,
that
because
shit.
Murph's actually from Connecticut.
I know. That is a big misconception. I say finish the sentence. I just knew he rolled with Connecticut folks, but when I was like, oh, are you going to be at this show? He's like, I don't live there. I'm like, no, I know that. I know you live in New York. Calm down. like I remember that was one of the second or third time I talked to Murph. I'm like, so are you going to this Connecticut show? Because I'm going to be there. He's like, I don't fucking live in Connecticut. I'm like, you never said you did.
My biggest fucking pet peeve is everybody assuming that I'm from Connecticut.
Oh, so funny.
People think I'm from New York. Fucking jerks. I'm from New York. State. But Warren. I never, I felt like Warren was an actual wife because I never loved and hated somebody at the same time.
Warren is your preparation for marriage.
Oh, no.
And if that's preparation for marriage, I should really lower my standards.
Shoot, there it is.
first told I was going to tag a Warren, I was very, very apprehensive about it. And kind of like, meh, much like his career. But then I was like, yeah, I want to tag you and him. I'm like, all right. Let me think about this for a moment. I'm like, legit, within like a day or two of Don telling me about it, maybe a week, I was like, let's call ourselves the Healing. It's a good fucking tag name.
Genius fucking name.
Yeah, and then with the tragedy comedy mask.
Mm-hmm.
And then my buddy who saw a picture of him was like, he looks like Farva. I'm like, that's not the first or last time I've heard that one. So he actually, like my buddy who drew up the fucking, he actually cut out the, what the hell is the name of it? The stencil from the fucking spray paint and shit like that. He was like, I'm gonna make his mask a little bit wider. Like, cause he's a bit of a wider fellow, yeah. He's a fat fuck. I just kid. He's actually lost a lot of weight since he stopped fucking pillows. I mean, Willow. I misspoke. I'm sorry. Her name was Willow. Her name was Willow Paulson. Her name was Willow Paulson. Shoot. Lord knows if there's any decision that Warren should ever reverse, it's not the DWI, it's that marriage.
Oh my god.
Well, shoot, there it is.
But, yeah, like, you know, teaming with Warren was what it sounds like. You ever ride on a roller coaster that's really fun, but somewhere in the midpoint somebody throws a bucket of shit on you? It's kind of what it's... Because you're like, yeah! What is this? What is this?
God.
I can't. That's kind of what it's like teaming with Warren. Because kind of like, did I just get a turd in my mouth? Or did I just have the best experience in my life? I'm not sure. I still have to wipe away this shit to know. In hindsight, best ride of my life. From a structural standpoint, we tried to bounce ideas back and forth, and I realized most of his were bad, unless it involved wrestling moves. I need to stop looking around. Sorry. Not to Warren, of course.
I hope to God Warren doesn't hear this, because he'll probably commit suicide.
I hope to God he does. The shortest kimchi lifespan ever. When it came to theme songs, I had a list of theme songs. Legitimately, I had like 5 theme songs I sent to him, sent to Donovan, sent to maybe one other person. I'm like, think so, yeah, you're right, thank you. But I sent to Zeke, I'm like, what do you think would be a good song choice? And Zeke's like, I kind of don't give a shit. And I sent like 1 or 2, and he's like, actually, that one's pretty dope. And it was a general consensus. I'm like, Dad, I think this should be our tag entrance, which was our tag entrance, the Bloodhound Gang. Mm-hmm. You know, lift your head up high. Warren wanted our tag to be Imagine Dragons Radioactive.
No.
Why?
Because the radical movement had some kind of slow, drawn out, like...
Oh, we had Sail.
Sail! But he wanted that, like, techno, evil-y kind of... He doesn't want to admit that shit, but I know for a fact, I'm like, that sounds way too much like this, and that sounds like more like, you know, what it was, which was a song to edit something to.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Credit where credit's due.
That's why I pointed at you when I said it. But you can't see that on the audio. But
that's why I said...
Shut up! I know! But that's what I mean, like, it's definitely an editing video, like, kind of thing. Like, it builds up towards something or whatever. Like, it's not like, who are we rocking again? With that spare tire? Or what are we rocking? You know, soul-wise and physically. But there were times where planning a war was a fucking dream. Me and him against fucking Bolton Sellers. Easiest planning I ever had in my life. Like, and it was strangely enough, like a horse derby race. Saratoga Springs coming back. Out of the gate, he was all about it. He fucking loved doing all the shit and everything else. And then after a while, he realized that a lot of the ideas were not his. Like, I came up with the idea for the shirts, I came up with the fucking entrance music, and a lot of people were giving me a lot more credit than he was getting, and he did not like it. And I get that. But at the same time, he was fucking doing so good. And it's like, why discount that? Why fucking get down on the fact that you're doing, like, we click. Like, we did great. There's no reason, like, the only reason why I broke off our tag team was because I knew Lauren was slowing down, or at least enough where he's not going to work as often.
So you needed to break up because of based on your careers, or quote unquote careers. Back at wrestling isn't really a profession, but like,
based on our hobbies.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
It wasn't so much how much that the tag team wasn't working out. It was just the fact that Warren wanted to wind down and you still wanted to keep going. So
right.
Logically, and especially based on the heat you guys were getting as a team,
the only reason why
sense.
I fucking hated him when it comes to things is that we had such good heat as a tag team. There's no fucking reason to stop it. And I was so tired of hearing how he's like, oh, you got, Russ, I'm so old. I'm like, you're old, motherfucker. You're old. Oh, I wear a knee brace, you know, brother. No, I think what it comes down to is that certain people have a different tolerance for pain. This is where we go back to what I said earlier. Different pain thresholds, and I do not hold this against people, but stop trying to make it sound like you're getting old. Dude, you're fucking 27. If you didn't do a bunch of stupid shit, you'd be fine. I just started recently getting bad bumps, quote unquote, where I was having concussions, or I fucked up my foot. My fault.
Still feel bad.
Yeah, I know, but it was my fault, though. You know what I mean? Like, and I didn't think about the fucking wrestling in the snow thing. Yes, folks, Ben fucked up my foot. You couldn't tell by the goddamn tape, because I went, and I just crawled over for the pin anyways. I don't know how that happened, but word. Honestly, I don't have much to shoot on Warren about because he is a good dude. But God, what a pain in my fucking ass.
but not too much to shoot about.
No, like seriously though, man, I love the guy to death, but Jesus Christ, I will never, ever have these problems with either of the guys I'm going to be teaming with now. Or any, whatever, if Marky shows up. Ooh.
Shoot, there it is.
If he didn't say it, I would've.
Even his own fed. Ooh. This motherfucker doesn't travel. Ooh.
unless it's for an NYE.
Ooh. That's the only thing. Ooh.
So we can wrestle Canadian twice.
Ooh. I hated that. Ooh. I love Kelly though.
Phone call. That's probably the front desk thing we got beat. Wow.
Hello? What's the... Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Fuck you, front desk.
This guy hates us the next room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Too bad.
sucks for him.
He said don't keep your fan on in the bathroom.
You don't have a fan on
Sure
the
that's
back
what it
row.
said, because it's not on.
That's what he's mad about, the fan?
Mm-hmm.
He puts it on.
Because that's what's loud in here. Oh man, that was off.
Turn it off.
Alright.
It's gonna mess with the camera.
So I just got a complaint.
Wah, wah, wah.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
You weren't loud. The fan in the bathroom was too loud.
I know he said something about the.
You sure you said something about the fan?
He said the fan in the bathroom.
Well, it's off now, so
It's been off all
you
night.
made the change. Who gives a fuck?
Maybe they're
So-
supposed to not in here.
Alright, so Any last words, or you want to move on?
I really don't give a
Lightning
fuck.
round?
Lightning round.
Before we get to that, I do want to ask one more thing.
Okay.
How were you inspired, and when did you come up with the whole Rustache thing? I'm sure people want to know about that.
That actually came about being Team Warren. Like, I was like, okay, I feel like I should develop a character. I didn't have a gimmick. I'm like, I've never grown out a mustache. Let me see if I can make a ridiculous mustache. And I just grew it out over the winter before I tagged Warren. And I realized that like this side, my right side of my mustache actually curls up naturally. So I was like, well, like I knew about the beard wax because well, mustache wax and shit like that. So I used it for a beard. So I was like, fuck it, I can get the other side the same length and just curl it up. And that's where it came from. It was just Dom being like, I'm going to team you with Warren. I was like, all right, he should have the goatee, and then I'll just fucking have him that. And I actually started off with a little fucking douchey soul patch as well, but then I was there, Murph, don't worry. I was a little thrown off by the noise complaint. I gotta keep it quiet.
Right.
Fuck him.
I can't.
Literally or figuratively, I don't know where this is going.
But,
So confused.
you know, I'd be very concerned what that guy's gonna do if he heard a lot of screaming coming from this room. Like, is
banging
it?
on the wall?
Well, no, it'd be against this wall. That's why this one's against the linen room. I get it, but sorry, dude.
Oh well. You're in a hotel. Expect it.
But I should call him back and be like, I have a noise complaint. You called me.
My phone keeps going off.
What the fuck was I talking about?
Rustache.
Rustache.
The whole
Yeah.
mustache.
Well, funny enough, I believe, I don't know where the rusty trombone came from, but I believe the Rustache ride, the first person I hit it was Crazy Pete at BKW. They had a singles, me and Crazy Pete, and had a brain eater into a pin, and that became my finishing move. And Cooperstown, throughout New Era and stuff like that, like, I believe it was Marshall was like, oh, you should call it the mustache ride. I'm like, it's actually the Rustache ride. He's like, fuck you, that's genius. You know what I mean? And so it was a good idea. And that's where it stuck. Like, I just grew it out and it became a thing. I kind of don't care anymore. not to be that guy, but just, nobody cares. You know what I mean? Like, I've got the U.S. belt. I'm just kind of like, well, when I was a good guy, of course. It's like you said, I had to remind people. It's like, you love to hate me. That's all there is to it. Mm-hmm. Because for the most part, like with the interaction with Today's Show and everything else, like when I was managing Danny, quote unquote, like, a dude just asked me if I was a manager. This fucking idiot completely forgot that he just saw me and you wrestle. It's like, yes, I'm just a manager, you fucking goddamn stone piece of shit. Like, and that's why I don't like stoners, to a degree. Because I hate to say it, to lump myself in with a group or whatever, because, you know, people like to be individuals. But I am more of an intelligent person. I'm an intelligent stoner. I actually fucking think about stuff. It's not like, oh, there goes idiot Russ, just being a stoner. It's like, no, I actually can drink, I can smoke, I can actually still critically think. That's what I do. And people forget that there are some people that are capable of doing that. That's why I don't try to travel outside of my bounds. I don't like doing the hard drugs and shit like that because I'm not in control there. Whereas here, like, even though I'm fucking
Hey. That'll be gone about a quarter of the way through my video.
No, I'm sure it's gonna be gone soon. But that's why, like, I feel like it's a misrepresentation for people. Like, that's why I've always had an appreciation for people like Zeke. Because, do you want more?
No, just put it
Okay. No,
Oh, he'll get more if he
well,
wants.
no, because he just kind of did the drunken lick turn. Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you, buddy.
I've always had an appreciation for guys like Zeke because even though I was a stoner and that guy's not into it or anything like that, He knew intelligence. He knew psychology, and he always does. Same with Don. Like, Don's not even that much into smoking these days. But he's like, and you know, like, I understand this year, like, Don put more of a focus on me last year. I understand there's not so much there. And I'm not saying that, like, I'm just drunk. But, like, I'm just saying in general, like, I get it. Like, I know what my booking is for the most part for NYE. I'm not going to be like, Don doesn't take care of me. I just think it's weird that I'm not in the same category as some. I don't understand it because there shouldn't be a category for the most part. Mm-hmm. I think it should be 1 tier, 2 tier. That's it. Like, because it's either people that know what the fuck they're doing or there's not. That's it. And I get it, like, I'm not booked against a lot of spotty people because I'm not about that life. But however, you look at today, we had fucking huge spots. Mm-hmm. That's why we didn't have a lot of moves in between it, because that's the whole point. But our whole match, if you look back at earlier in Jersey, that's right, folks. If you didn't hear, me and Rad wrestled in 2 different states. Mind's blown, I knew it.
Across a 3rd state. Technically.
True. We had to go through there. I got lost in it.
Well, we were brawling. You couldn't keep track of the sign.
The ref
lost
had,
an exit while you guys
the
were
ref, the ref, that's when the ref took over.
Couldn't take it anymore.
But you know, like, I don't think anybody's better than anybody else. I'm not like sitting here looking at like, oh, I'm fucking booked against Primetime and Warren gets rotten. That's cool. And I understand, like, oh, Warren's getting, like, the last minute bookings, quote unquote. But I believe that me and Rotten, well, I mean, me and Primetime was fucking, that was great. But I'm saying, like, how often am I going, like, I'm sure I'll see Rotten a couple more times throughout this time, but it's just like, I don't know how much more time I have left. I'm way older than, not way older, but I've got a few more years on Warren. It's just like, I don't know, guys. I'm just gonna keep going until I'm just like, I'm done. It's like either I'm forced to stop or. Yeah, but you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, even when because the whole situation that happened with Doug makes it so much realer. Yeah. The fucking thing we found out today with fucking CJ, like, holy Jesus Christ. Like, do you know, like, that puts things into so much perspective. That's why I need to start saying no to certain things, because, like, guys, really, like, you're going to do this again, or, you know, just so on and so forth. I want to keep doing fresh ideas, and it doesn't matter if it's with the same people, but have it be fresh. It's not that hard. Mm-hmm. It's really not. Maybe difficult at times, but it's not that hard. So, and I feel like a lot of my bookings this year have been more of a, oh, this has never happened, but there's a lot of shit that's never happened with me, so it's like, that doesn't necessarily mean that's the best choice. So, I think that's all I got to say. We should move on to Murph. You guys are looking fucking tired.
Do we?
Well,
You still have a lightning round to do.
Yeah, we got a
we
lightning
got a lightning round. What the
buddy.
fuck's a lightning round?
Basically, we say a name and then
You shoot.
show how you feel about them.
Yeah, good or bad.
Good or bad.
I kind of like
It's
this.
literally
This should be
whatever
like a
first thought
segment
comes
on the
to mind.
podcast, like the lightning round shoot.
Let's keep it a little down, guys, because apparently we echo off of the fucking jacuzzi.
I know, we're such bad fans.
Oh, jeez. God forbid.
What the heck?
Bubbles.
Nice.
Fellows.
So,
That won't affect the camera at all.
Yeah, that's not gonna affect the audio.
unless I throw it in there. It won't affect it. It'll just be the water. Alright, lightning round. Let's go, you fuckers.
As he downs moonshine.
Oh, who should we start with? I'll go first. Justin Henry.
I really don't know that much about the dude. He's always been very cordial and pleasant with me. The couple of things I've seen him do, I'm a fan of. I've heard people talk shit here and there, but who hasn't? I think that if I actually wrestled in a pro match, we'd probably get a lot of heat. But then again, I feel that way about a lot of people that I know. It's like me and you in a pro match, we'd kill people. We'd break their brains.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Me either. Drunk. But no, Henry, I have no fucking real. Come on.
Next.
Better.
You got somebody? I'm trying to think here.
Motherfuckers talking about lightning rounds. They ain't got no
Yeah.
names.
Marcus Santafonte, Don.
Marcus Santafonte always gets booked way better than I do, but that's because he talks for it. I feel like that, at least this year, I should be a little bit more underneath the umbrella, Ella, AAA. But I also think that he probably takes the approach that you're the U.S. champ, you should probably speak for yourself a little bit more. So I think that's more of my fault. Like, you know what I mean? I've never had a major reason to not like him. Like I said, like one of my first interactions, like I thought, oh, these guys, no. Let me rephrase this. Those guys knew they were better than Amsterdam, and that was the problem, because that's where I was based out of, and it's hard to not be affiliated with a place. That's the only option you have for wrestling. So you can't really be like, well, fuck these guys. I'm like, oh, they're kind of right. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that thought process, but at the same time, Don's my fucking boy. Like, yes, I'm driving bajillion miles or whatever, but I honestly wish he was around for tonight, and
Yes.
Yeah, that would be fun.
yeah, like, but he'd probably be at the bar because he's got to be the it guy.
Or now he's having too much fun with Caggiano.
I highly doubt that because he forced him to stay with Warren.
Oh, man.
That was a thing. All right, next name. Come on, Ben.
Yeah, it's up to you, Ben.
Ian Finnegan.
Ooh, good one.
Oh, okay.
See? Long wait, right? Yeah, that's worth it.
See, being the guy who I was, never really had internet access and shit like that, so I never got shit on him too much. Mind you, I said too much, so I'm not aware of if there was anything, but whatever. I've always loved having Ian around, honestly, because him, Glenn, Mason,
Peanut.
Dandy Dan, like pretty much Peanut, they were the first travel people to come in. I was like, oh, these guys are fucking awesome. He's wearing Elmo and as a Jufro. This guy's great. We had a weird angle going on, like, I don't know if this is one of those things where I'm like, I don't think this is fucking true, but apparently him and Martel are cousins. I highly doubt that's true. But we had this whole thing where, like, we would get in each other's face, like, oh, you're gonna talk shit? We legitimately built up for like 2 years to a match that eventually happened. It was so awesome. Like, every time I'm wrestling Ian, it's been great. A little secret that I have, there's only 2 people in my life that I want to wrestle a hardcore match with. No, 3, sorry. Pardon me. Water jets. Me versus Ian. Me versus Kunkel. Me versus Urban. Those are the only 3 hardcore matches I want to do. That's it. Like, would I bleed for all of them? Yeah. Do I want to? No.
But you would.
But I would. Yeah, absolutely. I think that those are all 3 dream. Like, if I was to ever do a death match kind of
Those
scenario,
are 3 guys you would want to do it with.
definitely. Any one of them. If any of them happen, great. If none of them happen, that's just as fine. Okay.
The Chad.
Chad, conversationally, I feel like the guy tries to get interested in what I have to say, and then when I talk to him, I feel like he's just kind of like mentally drifting in his own world, like almost like he's kind of, it's like the sun's always in his eyes, but he's just kind of peering through you, like he has no interest, but he tries to pretend like there is. And I'm not saying that in a shitty or negative way, that's the interpretation I get from my interaction with him. I was kind of like, it's one of those guys that definitely keeps you on the side where you're just like, I don't know what to fucking think about this dude, because like, I want to be friends. You know, but happens.
I've got one.
Oh no.
This is a one-on-one personal experience. It's kind of aimed towards one person, but as a group as a whole. Rage / Paul Destry.
Oh.
You know where I'm coming from for this.
Oh, from the
We
fucking...
almost had a match.
Oh, you mean the match where we were supposed to fucking have a single? The show was supposed to have a singles. Yeah. Ooh, and that was that about sums it up. But I farted if you didn't hear that. Destry, person. Image-wise, looking at him, you think he's a cocky fuck, just the way he smiles, but he has that sideways smirk. I think somebody slapped him too hard when he was young. Well, as a person, I have never had a single negative interaction with him, but I've seen the way he's acted towards a group of people. I've seen the way he thinks that he's supposed to be so over, so I understand why a huge group of people will reject you. It's just like, you're an idiot. It's like, and so that's why he started getting called rigatoni, because nobody took him fucking seriously. That show, however, Rage. Ooh.
Yeah, that's the general consensus.
You're not doing well when you're... Who had the best matches? Was it Rebel and Richie?
I think wasn't it my brother? Didn't my brother have a match there, and it was pretty goddamn good. It was right before our match was supposed to happen too, and a triple threat. It was him, Pete, which was Jim, Crazy Pete, and I think it was the Magician. Or no, it was Stuffer. It was Stuffer.
Yeah, because it was Stuffer, and I think either Rebel or Richie wrestled the match before that. I think it was Rebel, because I think it was me, Rebel, Stuffer, and Mark.
And we were supposed to go next, right when the cops fucking
when
showed
the cops showed up, because
and we had such a good heel face traditional match plan set up. Oh god.
He probably remembers all of it. I don't remember any of it. But well, I mean, not as a snuff, but it's just like I don't remember because it's like it's one of those things where
so
I like.
Long ago.
And but there was also a lost hope. I was just like, yes.
Yeah, you had so much good traditional heel stuff like raking the eyes, running the rope, because Martel was going to interfere because you were with the cartel at the time.
That's right.
And I was still a face at that time, so I was going to like super face up. It was going to be such a traditional like 80s style like heel versus face match. And the fucking cop showed up and ruined it.
What year was that?
That was 2010? No, beginning of spring of 2011.
Okay, yeah. That
Spring of
sounds right.
2011.
Let's move this down a little bit just so we're not reverberating off this fucking wall and echoing. Trust me, I have a mind for acoustics.
So and the chairs can get shifted over.
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking about it. It's like I would probably have a lot less of a noise dampener. Sorry.
Any last ones? Any last
Well,
names?
I don't know. I don't really have. I don't have any names for myself.
Oh god, my fireball.
I'll throw one more at you. How about Sick Rick?
Sick Rick.
That just gave me an idea for another one.
Oh no. Sick Rick. Well, I would say originally, I think the guy had no idea what the fuck to do with me. Like when I got Team Rebel, as a booker. The dude, good guy. You know, as you'll fucking hear from me for like 5 bajillion times tonight. But I feel like even throughout years, sometimes you make fucking mistakes. The only time I feel like I've ever seen Rick make a mistake is when he clobbered Rad against the post when he was handcuffed to it.
About that.
Dude, it was rough. And I felt really bad for Rick because he really like felt upset about it. Because it's like, eerie. Anytime I've wrestled Rick, fantastic. It's been a fantastic fucking time. I think I only wrestled him once, honestly. I think it was in a multi-band. I can't remember. Oh god.
Didn't you wrestle like Dubai?
Did I?
I feel like you did. In like a fatal 4-way?
Maybe.
I could be wrong.
Maybe. I don't know. I know one goodbye. I fucking wrestled PWW and G Fatal. Okay, Murph, what's your...
Phoenix,
Which one?
Vocalin,
Steve.
Steve Schneider.
You have to do this to me.
I do.
Yep.
Do it.
You're drunk enough. Come on.
Yeah. Alright. I miss seeing Phoenix at shows. But god damn, I have not seen a human being cry so much.
Okay.
No, seriously, like, I mean, I've seen this guy cry at least 4 or 5 times, like, throughout my time, and I'm just like, dude, calm down. Like, seriously, you need to come out with a box of Kleenex. If that's gonna be your gimmick, you may as well be fucking crying all the time. Like, I don't know, like, they say cry more than cry. I'm just like, cry, Schneider, cry. Like, seriously, it should have been his character, because it happened a lot. I've never seen somebody have so many goodbye matches in my life.
Retirement matches, you mean? Not like BXW goodbye.
You're hilarious.
Like,
You're hilarious.
I'm trying to clarify for the listener, Russell.
Yeah.
The one listener, which will be him.
Don't worry, Vince. It was all your idea. It was all your idea.
Good call.
Honestly, I miss having Schneider around, so we had some like Andy buffer.
Yeah, true. Very true.
But at the same time,
That's
like,
become what St. Vengeance is now.
I also wish he was around so he could be part of the radical movement.
Yeah,
That would be fun.
that was a lot of fun.
He's somebody I wish I got a chance to wrestle because I would have kept it safe and still sick. But, oh well. Yes, do I think he cried a lot? Sure, but also I caught him at a lot of emotional times, which apparently happened every 5 minutes. But,
Truth shoot.
but at the same time, he is I wasn't very exposed. Like I said, I didn't have the internet. I wasn't very exposed to Midwest stuff, so I didn't understand, like, why he was so emotional about things. I'm just like, this dude's been fucking doing this since he was like, what, 13?
Yeah.
And he's like,
Long time.
what, now,
Yeah.
like 23? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
23, 24.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's weird for me to meet people who are like 23, 24. They've been doing it for a decade. And I'm just like, I've just been doing it for a decade. And, oh, right.
Russ and I are of the ilk of the people who got in really late.
Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that about you. How old were you when you started?
Technically.
Find out next time, folks.
For your interview. That.
Oh, you're gonna leave it at that?
Yeah.
All right.
Find it. Tune in next week.
Sorry, I had to.
I'll tell you, I started at 20. I had my first match at 20. So.
I was later.
All right.
I'll
man.
find the button, Benjamin.
And that is the end of it, folks. A lot of great stuff here with the Russ, as well as our guests in the room with this amazing jacuzzi.
And now we're going to have to try to keep it quiet for all
Yeah,
of
now we have to
this.
keep it a little quiet because apparently the fan is too loud.
Oh, that's the fan.
That's like walking down with a bird, walking by.
Yeah. So I want to thank everybody in the room.
Brandon Hall.
As everyone, yeah.
Do your best Brandon Hall impression. Shit all over everything.
Shoot that. All right, that's it for us. So Ben, say goodbye to everybody.
Bye-bye.
All right, Murph.
See you guys.
And
very
our,
shortly.
there you go. And our guest, the Russ.
Farewell, motherfuckers.
Thank you very much for your time, Russ. We'll see you next time on the podcast.
Yeah, Ben.
You got the button.
No, I don't.
And there you have it, folks. Once and for all, we have reached the end of this phenomenal interview with none other than the Russ. So much fun talking with that man that night. So much fun. And I hope we can do it again, because that man had so much to talk about. We could talk about his entire career over again and get a completely different interview, I swear. But since the Russ's interview is over, I can now talk about other future interviews down the line. The next one being with none other than Murph. That's right, we're going to be talking to Murph. You thought, oh, maybe because he works with that company, he won't be doing an interview on here. Well, we got the man, the former Global Backyard Wrestling Nation World Heavyweight Champion, will be on the GBYWN podcast the very next episode, whenever that may be, and hopefully I will not be as sick as I have recently, so that episode will be sooner than later. But in the meantime, folks, I'm going to have to bid you farewell and adieu as I get me some orange juice and maybe some cough syrup, and we'll go from there. But in the meantime, folks, I am Rad Hazard, and I thank you for listening to this, the Global Backyard Wrestling Nation podcast.
What a neat
Speech!
In my days out in the jungle, I come to realize that wrestling in the rain is actually my natural habitat. You know, out there swimming with the bears, wrestling them in the water, it kind of speaks out to me.
Is this really happening?
What did you say? I remember I was with Barry the bear, and he was telling me how I should do a bear hug, and I didn't do one today, but I did one to Drake Genocide, and everyone saw that, right? I know you did.
Yeah, I saw it. It was awesome.
No, I didn't see that.
I didn't win with it, but hey, I did it. But that has nothing to do with this moment right here.
Yeah! Nothing to do with it.
This is the Super J Cup of 2014, and it looks like Safari Spino has won. Through all of his hardships out in the jungle, fighting the lions and the tigers and bears.
Oh my.
I know what it means
Oh my!
to win something. And I won the title of being king of the jungle
Yeah.
by Mufasa himself before he got thrown off by his brother.
Yeah, what's Simba doing?
Scar sucks!
Simba's, I don't know.
Yo, Simba's just a little bitch.
Come back to
Simba
the
is a
title.
little
He doesn't know. He
bitch.
doesn't
Oh,
know.
you up, Simba.
Yo, he don't know. You come to EWA, Simba. Is that Simba?
Where?
Here comes Simba now.
Lions hate water.
Come on.
Take that, Simba. You can't get me here in my natural habitat.
The circle of life.
That was fun, guys. It was really good. And I'm really.
Tuna. And they,
Well, I thank myself only for winning this because nobody else did it but me. Those be fighting words.
What a speech.
That's it. You could cut the camera. It's raining out.
Such a man!
Give me that. Give the man a towel. Give me that.